All right. Hello, everybody. I am at the Visitor Center of Garden of the Gods here in Colorado, just outside of Colorado City. Right behind me, you can actually see the snow-capped mountain. That's Pike's Peak. And a little bit of traffic noise because I'm back at the Visitor Center and at the parking lot, and there's kind of a road going by. But before I get back in the car and drive, I thought I'd make a quick video. Whoa, that was a noisy truck. I just want to talk about uh, kind of some reflections. I mentioned I'm recently on this journey um, of what it's like being diagnosed at the age of 50 as an autistic person. But there are many things that I've struggled with my whole life and just kind of making sense out of all of this. But what I'd like to talk about is just the power of how therapeutic it is to spend time in nature. So, what I've discovered is that my entire life I've struggled with many things that are common that I have in common with a lot of autistic people. There are a lot of sensitivities to many things, such as sensitivities to smells um, that are often encountered in more urban areas in the workplace, in schools, and shopping malls. Chemical smells, things of like cleaners, perfumes, fragrances that are in lotions, and all kinds of things like that. They can be very, very bothersome. Also, there are some issues with social anxiety, just kind of being uncomfortable sometimes, having a lot of anxiety being around groups of people, or when you're in a situation where you have to engage in small talk with a lot of people, that can be uncomfortable and a challenge for a lot of autistic people. That's something that I experience as well. So, uh, things like in the workplace, office politics, all of those kind of complexities really are just something that I don't enjoy at all and don't like being a part of. But what I find, if I'm able to come out to a place like this, spend time in nature, you get out just in nature, walking through the plants, the trails, the fresh air, being able to have freedom away from all of the chemicals and fragrances that come up so often, in wherever you go. You go to church, you go to the workplace, so you're in the office, and people are wearing lotions and colognes and all kinds of things that have strong perfumes in them. I come out here, I'm just walking around, I smell the fresh air. It's just really comfortable. That is a really, really wonderful thing. And I'm able just to walk, breathe the fresh air. There's no pressure to really interact with people. I mean, I can kind of nod when I meet people on the trail, but it's really really quite refreshing just to be able to spend time in nature. It always is. Um, and I think too, then, when we're kind of in the man-made setting, you're in this social setting where you're trying to interact with people. That's often uncomfortable for autistic people. I know it is for me. And you feel these pressures of society. You feel these pressures of trying to fit in or not being able to fit in. But then you come out in nature. You're walking around a place like Garden of the Gods, and there are all these rock formations that have been there for millennia, been there since prior to recorded history, but at least in terms of before humans started recording any history. And it just kind of gives kind of helps to kind of readjust the perspective. You're like, oh man, all these things that have been kind of weighing me down or that have been stressful, it just seems to not really matter so much when you have the perspective of being in an environment where everything could pretty much look the same as what it did thousands of years ago. um, and you're like, all of these little stresses we have in society, they really don't seem to be so heavy and so meaningful when you put it into this type of a perspective. So I would say, if you're a person who perhaps is autistic, or maybe you have friends who are, or someone is, maybe inviting yourself or inviting them to have a chance to spend some time in nature. The more natural, the better. The less crowded, the better. And if you're not autistic and you're inviting an autistic person to spend time in nature, maybe letting them feel comfortable and relaxed. Like, hey, let's just go. If you'd like to just walk or just hike, just soak in the view. And if you'd like to do it in silence and feel there's really no need to feel the necessity to engage in conversation if you don't want to. I think there's a lot of comfort, and it really kind of helps to put you at ease a lot if put you at ease a lot if you're with someone or with a group of people that give you the freedom to just be yourself and just enjoy the experience of being there, and not feel that you have to somehow engage in conversation and small talk if you don't want to, because I know small talk for me is really just a pressure and it's uncomfortable. I'd rather talk about things that I feel are meaningful, or perhaps just breathe the air and soak in the views and not be distracted by the necessity to engage in a lot of conversation that really has no purpose to me other than just feeling like it's an obligation that you have to fulfill. Yeah. All right. So those are a few thoughts that I have. Traffic's kind of noisy again, but I wanted to share a little bit of this beautiful view, Pikes Peak in the background. Um, by the way, Pikes Peak, beautiful. Garden of the Gods, a little bit crowded for my taste, but there are really a lot of nice hiking trails, nice places to bike. You can ride segways, go on segway tours if you want, bring your bikes, bicycle, just walk, climb on the rocks. If you're a trained climber, you can get a permit and actually climb some of the bigger rocks. But it's actually a really beautiful area. So I would definitely recommend a visit here if you haven't been here, or maybe come back if you haven't been in a while. But a few thoughts I had on the therapeutic power of spending time in nature, especially for autistic people. But honestly, I think it's probably good for almost all of us. Spend more time in nature. Definitely recommend it.